This is Jake Pazicki with an ACT Science conflicting viewpoints question. Now, this question is asking us, it's giving us a hypothetical situation in which widespread crystalline structures and patterns unique to unevenly heated sections of rock were discovered in the crust beneath the ocean floor. This discovery would most likely strengthen the viewpoints of blank. So they're giving us some hypothetical situation where we found these widespread crystalline structures that were unique to unevenly heated rock, and they're asking us if this discovery hypothetically happened, would it strengthen, so keyword strengthen, the viewpoint of scientist 1, scientist 2, both of them, or neither of those scientists. So what we have to do is we have to go through each of the scientists' perspectives and see where it talks about the ocean floor and if there's any theories that they have that line up with this unevenly heated sections of rock, which would give us these crystalline patterns. And so if we notice, if you read the passage, you would notice that it talks about ocean basins here in scientist 1 and here in scientist 2. So we'll read these two sections to see what they say about crystalline structures. In scientist 1, we read that the ocean basins were formed by an uneven cooling of the asthenosphere. So right there, we should have a little heads up, because unevenly heated sections of rock was one of our keywords here in the question. Uneven cooling caused fragmentation of crustal rocks, which sank into the asthenosphere, causing massive depressions. Okay, so this uneven cooling caused this fragmentation of the rocks, and the rocks sank into the asthenosphere, causing massive depressions that filled with water. So basically, scientist 1 is saying that this uneven cooling of the asthenosphere caused the crust to break apart and fall deeper into the asthenosphere, causing a deep depression for water to fill up with. And so that would if we found suppose that we found there were these crystalline structures in the rock that were suggesting an uneven heating and cooling, or uneven heating in this case, that would probably support scientist 1's perspective, because remember, both scientist 1 and scientist 2 are just giving us their theories, and we don't know if either one's right. We don't see any research supporting that. So, but if this was a discovery, that would be a discovery that would support scientist 1's perspective. So we can see that it would support scientist 1. Let's look at scientist 2. Ocean basins are formed when the plates under the oceans are forced underneath the continental plates and the void is filled with water. It doesn't say anything about heating of the rock or uneven heating of the rock. And so there's nothing that would tell us that this theory would be supported if we found out that the rock was unevenly heated. So it is not going to support scientist 2's perspective, which means that in turn it is not going to support both scientists' perspective, nor is it going to support neither of them, because we know that it does support scientist 1's perspective. So the answer of choice is A, scientist 1 only.